So, hello, I'm Michael, and today I want to share some pictures and also some thoughts on my two recent holidays to Tenerife. The Canary Islands, they're off the coast of Africa. You don't see it very well here, but this is Morocco, and underneath you got Western Sahara. And I read up on all the islands last year, and I sort of took a liking to what I read about Tenerife. So I booked a holiday there, and that was last August. I went to Puerto de la Cruz here. And then just 2 weeks ago, I was down here in the southwest on the Costa Adeje, and both visits were absolutely amazing. And I'm gonna show you some pictures, and you probably understand why. So the first time, I was in the H10 Hotel in the north in Puerto de la Cruz, and that was actually a really nice place. I can show you. This is the view from the top. It's quite spectacular, isn't it? And on the opposite side, this is actually sort of a swimming pool complex. You can pay to get in. It does not cost a lot of money. I think it's like €5 a day or something. And what you see in the water there is actually seawater, right? So they refreshed it a couple times a week or something, and it's quite a different experience. So this is the pool in the inside of the hotel. So the hotel is like L-shaped, and it's sort of it forms like a frame around the pool area here, which is quite nice. So on the outside, you got palm trees and things. And if you walk a little bit along the coast to the left, you come to this place here. Really lovely. People can go swim there. You see this little thing strutting out into the sea. There's like ladders and steps you can go into the water. Really nice stuff. This is the same, just from a different view. So on the left hand side there's like rocks and things, and if you want to get into the water there, good luck to you. Those rocks are sort of quite sharp and you can sort of hurt yourself, so you want to know what you're doing if you want to do that. If you go further along the coast to the west, then you get to this lovely beach here. This is like black sand, like from the volcanic stones. So that is really nice. And sort of along the way back to the hotel, I found this stuff here on the right. That's really lovely. And there's a lady on the left. I quite liked her, but sort of she didn't fancy me. But she said to me there was something better for me in store. So that actually happened at night time. And when I went to the restaurant, I had a little bit of an amazing experience. So when you go to the restaurant, there's like a reception desk, and there's a lady there that checks your room number and things. And for dinner time, you have to book your place as well, because it's just quite a large hotel, and then you get like times that you can book for 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, or 9 o'clock. So anyway, as I was going there, I come from one side, and I saw from the other side there was a woman coming there, also by herself, like. And I walked up to the lady, and I knew her from the night before. I chatted to her because her name was Ingrid, which is sort of a German, also a Scandinavian name. I asked her about it, and she told me that her mom named her after Ingrid Bergman, the actress, right? So anyway, I went up to her, and she says hi, and she goes, "Table for one." I said, "Yeah, table for one." I took a few steps inside, waiting for the waiter to pick me up, so I turned around, and I was going to have a look at this other woman behind me, right? And Ingrid, she sort of clocked this immediately, right? And she looked at me again, and she goes, "Oh, excuse me, did you say table for one? Did you say table for two?" So I looked at that other lady, and I said, "Oh, table for two would be fine by me." So Ingrid looked to the other woman, and she looked at me, and she said, "Yep, table for two." And that was it. That was absolutely beautiful. We sat together, we had dinner together and chatted, and then we decided to have an excursion the next day. So we decided to visit some place. Along the way, we found all these lovely buildings here, and we were trying to find a bus station. We got hopelessly lost. It wasn't a bad thing. Opportunity to take some pictures here. And most of the buildings are really nice, but Not all of them are. You also have to understand that there's 1 million people living on the island. About 80 to 90% are probably involved in catering to tourists, of which there are about 6 million every year. And sort of where people live is not quite as nice. And you also have to understand that the Spanish minimum wage is something just a little bit over €6, and people there don't earn an awful lot more than that. So life is sort of brilliant for tourists, but for those people who live there, it's sort of tough business, right? So anyway, Karina and I, we sort of booked a trip. We took a bus to a place west of Puerto de la Cruz. It's Ico de los Vinos. And we went there to find this amazing and famous dragon tree, which is about 1,000 years old. So it took about, did it take a little bit more than an hour or something to get there? So what you do is you book a ticket there. There's sort of a fairly small park. You can see things. There's other nice trees, and there's sort of flora and fauna, and you find those canary birds everywhere, and you get lizards wherever there's little rocks and things. Down the bottom left you find Karina and me. So that was our first excursion, and then a couple days later we took another excursion, and this time we went to the right of the city, and that was an hour trek. So it went up and down, sort of, and then we come to this, what I call my magic beach. When I first saw this and took this picture, I just could not believe how beautiful it was. You got the same from the other side here. And you come up from the top. If you look at the top right, there's like a banana plantations. There's a little road behind. So you're walking along there, and then in the top left corner, you can see a restaurant. And Karina actually didn't have a swimming stuff with her, so she stayed up there, and I went all the way down. It's sort of quite a walk actually, because you sort of on the top left you see it goes sort of steadily down, and then in the bottom left you see sort of the path all the way down to the beach. There's a hut where there's a place where you can buy some stuff, some drinks and things, and you can also rent an umbrella there, which I did. And then I had a dip into the water. There was no swimming allowed, unfortunately. There was a yellow flag there. So there is really, really strong currents, and there were quite some big waves coming in there, I can tell you. So that was really, really beautiful. Between those 2 days of our excursions, I had one on my own, which I sort of booked earlier, and I didn't want to change. And I booked a catamaran trip, and you see the catamaran there, and you'll notice that it's sort of not the biggest thing. And it not being the biggest thing and not having the most display placement, it means it moves about a little bit in the waves. And by a little bit, I mean sufficient enough so that, I'm not lying to you guys, it's at least a third, maybe 40% of all people got sick on there. So if you're not used to going out to sea on sort of a boat that wobbles about on the waves, take some pills or something. But if you do go, and I did go, and I didn't fare too well, I can tell you, but so we sailed around the island, and then we sort of got places where you can sort of watch dolphins in the sea if you're actually lucky enough to catch them, which we did here. And then also we got orcas here. And that was also really, really nice to see them. So those were the highlights of my first trip to Tenerife. And then just a couple of weeks ago, I very spontaneously booked a place, and I decided to go back to Tenerife, but I wanted to see something different. So I booked the Blue Sea Hotel here. This is absolutely amazing. The architecture and everything, how it's sort of done. I have to say though, there's also sort of places where there's some paint peeling and sort of tiles wobbling about, and I guess you don't notice that if you have a whole lot of fun. The one thing I have to say though, the food in this place was not as good, and unfortunately, most of the time it was barely sort of lukewarm. And what I also have to say about the place, you got to like a bar in where you can get your drinks and stuff, but there was only one person in there, so you had to queue up, and that was totally different in the H10 hotel. And in fact, that was absolutely brilliant, I have to say. You could sit there in the evenings outside or inside. They had evening entertainment inside. They also had waiters, and those were absolutely brilliant. They were really, really lovely people. They were friendly. They would dance with you. They would chat with you. They were serving your drinks with a smile in the H10 hotel. There was a guy called Antonio and another one, Fernando. And those two really made a difference between a good and sort of an average hotel. But still, here, this was, that's from a little bit further away, and it still looks absolutely amazing. And talking about amazing, this is the view I had from my room, and that is sort of nothing short of spectacular, I would say. Absolutely love this. So, but I didn't just go there for the sun. It was actually lovely because in Germany it was like snowing the night before I left, and at 4:15 in the morning when I left my flat on a Saturday morning, there was like snow everywhere. It's -3 degrees, and then like I don't know, like 12 hours later, I was sort of enjoying this view here. It was just amazing. And in your hotel, there's a shop you can book excursions, which I did for Monday. And I went up to see Teide here, which is the big volcano in the middle of the island. And that is it. And I have a group of pictures here. So we took a bus, drove around quite a bit, and we made a stop at the top of the picture. We had a short stop of about 5 minutes because there was quite some spectacular views and pictures to be taken. And then we drove on, we came to in a picture on the bottom right. That's a sort of a station where people get out if they just want to walk around there. The most of us booked a cable car to go to the top, and the other pictures, like they're all taken from the top. And I said the top, it's the cable car station is at 3,500 meters, and then it's another 200 meters to get to the top, to the peak, right? And I wanted to go up there, but as soon as I came out of the cable car, I was absolutely gasping for breath. It wasn't nice. I thought I felt nauseous. I took a couple of steps and I thought, no, this is not happening. So I sat down, like, and sort of recovered a little bit, and then I got some pictures taken, and I had some people take some pictures of me with a lovely background, and that was nice. But if you're not used to it, I mean, you go like from 0 to 3,500 meters, that's just called it 10,000 feet for those who work in feet. It's pretty quick, and like mountain climbers, they're sort of acclimatized when they go up, and I didn't have none of that, so it wasn't a thing for me. So next day I was back down, and having a problem here. Oh, sorry guys, I just got my pictures mixed up here. So here I'm back at, this is another beach I found, which was about 10 minutes from the hotel. Took a capture here. Oh, that on bottom right, that's me coming out of the water. And the water was absolutely amazing. 21 degrees, same as the outside temperature. So you can dip in there, have a little paddle about, and don't get too cold. And on the right hand side, you see people sort of like piling those stones on top of each other. On the left is the beach. It's sort of there's some stones and things, and then they sort of get you get the finer sand as you get closer to the water. So that it's really, really nice. So really enjoyable. So I hope you enjoyed our little excursion to Tenerife, and if you feel inspired, then I suggest you go there yourself. And I wish you all the best. Until next time, bye bye.